There exists a limit to the force even the most powerful may apply without destroying themselves. Judging this limit is the true artistry of government. Misuse of power is the fatal sin. The law cannot be a tool for vengeance, never a hostage, nor a fortification against the martyrs it has created. You cannot threaten an individual and escape the consequences. Muad'Dib on Law, the Stilgar commentary. Welcome back to Dune Saga, everyone. This is season 4 of our Dune campaign here on the Stolen Fires channel. I'm Eric at Modern Recluse Online, your games master for this epic multi-arc adventure series, which continues tonight with our latest storyline, Judge of the Change. A warm welcome and salutation to new and old viewers alike here to the Stolen Fires channel on Twitch, where there's always an awesome TTRPG live play to look forward to.
Ooh.
As a content warning, this program does feature adult situations and language and may not be suitable for all ages, so your discretion is advised. In the way of announcements at the top of our show, we wanted to bring special attention once again to the terrible events unfolding in Gaza. In addition to the incessant bombing campaign, the Palestinian people are now in danger of being starved to death, and a real famine is at hand unless aid is delivered immediately and sustained. France, Jordan, Egypt, UAE, and the US have begun this effort with airdrops, but we have to keep up the pressure so that we can avoid yet another devastating loss of life. Leading the way online is the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights, or USCPR. Head on over to uscpr.org and use the resources there to make your voices heard. I've shared the link on social media and help spread the word in an effort to get others involved in the struggle. Again, that's uscpr.org for the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights. Music attribution shoutouts go to Pixabay, Scott Buckley, Coag Music, Tabletop Audio, Repulsive Sound, and Bleer Moon. You can find more awesome sounds and tunes over at secretpress.bandcamp.com, scottbuckley.com.au, and pixabay.com/music. Many thanks to Modifius Entertainment for making awesome games like Dune Adventures in the Imperium, and thank you to Roll20 for the use of their virtual tabletop platform, which is perfect for hosting games just like this one. And as always, we want to give our thanks to our viewers and fans for tuning in. Our house entourage is here and ready to engage in the deadliest of intrigues. Agents of the Imperium, tell our audience who you are, where they can find you online, and who you'll be playing this evening. Beginning with Aaron.
Hello, everyone. I'm Aaron, pronoun she, they, fae. I typically play Eloise Spacere, pronouns she, they. She is busy being in jail on Kaitane currently. So we'll see who I'm playing tonight.
Leo.
Hello, my name is Leo. You can find me here on Twitch at Leo the Black, and today I'll be playing, hopefully, Archibald. Maybe. He may be getting tortured in a dungeon right now, but you never know. But we'll see. Same here. I don't know who I'm playing today.
Last but not least, of course, Rachel.
You're muted, Rachel.
You're muted.
Yep, I'm always do that. Hello, I am Rachel. I am Stolen Fires. Pretty much everywhere. I could play Lady Daphne. She is on Arrakis, but she also knows to stay out of this fight. So I think for part of it, I will be a captain of the security forces, John. I am super excited for this. I've been waiting for this exact scene since our first session. So we made it.
Yay!
Totally not scared of something that Eric said in the waiting room about a time skip.
Yes. And just so everybody's up to date on what happened recently, if we can have the recap when you get a chance, Aaron.
Sure. Back on Gidi Prime, doors open with a hiss, and glow globe light spills into the room, revealing Raban and Fade sitting together in the dark. Raban demands to know of the doctor. How long? How long until the Baron is healthy? Never. He succumbed to his wounds. Peter calms Raban's grief and rage and promises vengeance against Bene Gesserit, particularly Dupolito's consort. With Vladimir's death, any promises to the Bene Gesserit are void. But there's one question. What to do about Nadine? They all agree to keep what happened tonight here a secret. Now Fade Rotha and Raban are House Harkonnen. Back on Kaitane, Beatrice dashes to the medical wing while Duke Leto battles Sadakar. He just manages to use a seal to escape them. Thank goodness for Gurney Halleck's training. But another trio of Sadakar mow through Leto's house guards. Fortunately, the Fadaken can fill in the gaps and go toe-to-toe with the Imperial Guard. Amira continues sneaking her way through the guards, creating an opening for Beatrice to finally reach the medical bay, ducking the exchange of gunfire between Anessa and the other Sadakar. And now Archibald duels Captain Aramsham of the Sadakar. They're well-matched opponents, and while Archibald doesn't prevail, he does hold his own. Captain Aramsham is clearly tiring. Elsewhere, Kynes joins the battle herself, using her Chris knife against the contingent of Sadakar trying to swarm Anessa. She calls out, directing her Fadaken where to go, and how to move, and pointing out targets. Amira comes in from the side and finishes them off before even half of them realize she's in the room. Amira says Kynes can come with her or go help with the bombs. Deep in the medical wing, Eloise does her best to help Beatrice rapidly disable the bombs, but they're getting warmer and warmer, and gloves don't help her with the dexterity required. Eloise leaps into action and disperses fire suppressant over the room. This helps Beatrice disable another 3 bombs. Archibald continues his duel with Ramshan, while his Varangian guard face off with the Sadakar. The Varangian prove their training, even against the Emperor's finest. They give Archibald exactly the opening he needs to defeat Captain Ramshan, especially when pincered by Mossam. Seeing their commander fall shakes the other Sadakar, and they now lack distinct orders on which to act. Some of them move boldly towards Mossam, trying to secure the Imperial Prince, but he's intent on fighting back and engages with them. They hadn't expected that, nor for him to use the voice on them, and takes out a few more soldiers. Another troop of Sadakar moves to Amira and Kynes, and Anessa begins taking careful aim at them. She carefully picks off a few with her slow stutter pellets. Now that they're at half strength, the Sadakar begin making a tactical retreat, but some of them are near Kynes, whom the Fadaken wish to protect. They drop some more. Leto moves to protect Kynes, and the planetologist begins evacuating. Amir schemes in the back of her head for what to do next. Yue finally reaches the medical wing and does his best to continue disabling nanite bombs, while Leto and Archibald argue over the necessity of Leto's also evacuating. Leto's honor compels him to stay and fight and see this through. He will not abandon anyone. And Archibald is needed to fight the new jihad. Speaking of that, they need to defuse the bombs if everyone is to live. Leto, Archibald, Anessa, and Mossam move into the medical wing. The Pranu Bindu trained Mossam attempts first, but high-level electronics are not his forte, and though he disables some bombs, others advance their ticking. Beatrice ineffectually directs Archibald and Anessa on where to cut, but Anessa's been dealing with nanites her whole life. She knows what to do. The veteran of the new jihad finishes off the rest of the corpses. But that's when they hear Sadakar battle language, soldiers coming in to arrest them. Eloise grabs her communet and desperately asks the guild to quarantine the entire planet, insinuating the Emperor himself has been affected. Her news is so shocking no one can believe she's lying. Just as she finishes her message, the Sadakar move in and begin arresting everyone. Kynes tries to make her way to freedom, but she and her surviving Fadaken are captured. Amir uses the chaos as cover to sneak off-world herself, heading for Eloise's nuke as a bargaining chip. But she's not quite good enough, and the Sadakar also find her. With everyone in custody, the focus shifts to Gidi Prime and the departing Bene Gesserit. Daphne, aboard the Hayliner, watches the Harkonnen Armada board the ship. She studies the ship's capabilities and understands that disembarking would take anywhere from 2 to 6 hours. One of the Bene Gesserit comes in and asks where Norma is. Daphne doesn't know, but assumes Norma is resourceful. In secret, the Bene Gesserit communicates her willingness to help Daphne and the boy evacuate. Daphne, however, insists that the Missionaria Protectiva has worked too well, and Dune already has a Messiah. They're dubious, but have no reason to doubt Daphne, especially when she says she already has influence over him. The Sisterhood seems willing to allow her to act on Arrakis, perhaps even hoping she can shift the tide of battle. Daphne and Varys speak. What's happening is dangerous, for everyone. But Daphne cannot let Paul face what's coming alone. She knows her fate, the fate of her house, is on Arrakis. She'll do what she can to warn the Atreides of what's coming. Meanwhile, smugglers appear to try to get Nadim properly harnessed, but his dog appears to suspect one of them, someone with blue-on-blue eyes. He's taken by surprise when the Lupus Adwali attack, but the Adwali didn't expect Nadim to have a Chris knife, which he uses to cut through the garrote and the Adwali's hand. That's when the door opens and 2 Harkonnens come in with strange parachute packs and pistols. One shot goes wide, hitting the Adwali by accident, but Nadim doesn't get hit. which is good. As the ship he's in now plummets to the ground, he pushes one to the side and shoots another. They tumble through the air, grappling each other. The Harkonnen's gun falls into the air, but he still has a knife he can attack with. The Harkonnen goes for the heart, but Nadim twists away. He clings to the man, or, more particularly, his wingsuit. The two of them crash together in the dunes of Arrakis. Nadim's shield is torn from him, but he brings a quick end to his opponent and steals his shield. Fortunately, the man also carried a survival pack, which is good for Nadim, as he's in the middle of nowhere. On Arrakis, under the daytime sun. But at least the Harkonnen has his own communication device, which Nadim uses to call for rescue. Elsewhere, as soon as Daphne reaches planetside, she raises the Atreides security forces and thus informs Thufir Hawat and Gurney Halleck of the oncoming threat. She also makes sure Zoshir and the other local Fremen are also informed. Daphne has Captain Hajan take point on evacuating Carthag and getting civilians out of harm's way, but the word comes down suddenly and there's chaos and fighting and some casualties during the evacuation. After their best efforts to evacuate, it's time to defend the city. The Harkonnen fleet descends.
Excellent. Thank you for reading that. And thank you, Rachel, for taking excellent notes as always. We shall continue on Kaitane. Sort of where we left off before, with everybody being imprisoned by the Sardaukar. You currently have 1 momentum left in your bin. And we'll start with Archibald and move along to Elois. Corrin City features 2 distinct detention facilities, the Imperial Prison and the Landsrat Prison. The latter is designed as a temporary holding facility for the nobility, with detainees being constrained to lavishly furnished staterooms that are watched over by the Imperial Guard. The former is much less pleasant in its presentation, with its large gray structure, high thorn hedges, and the infamous Trader's Gate entrance, decorated with the preserved and hollowed heads of your 4 executed prisoners set on high poles. Archibald, Echo, Inessa, the Varangian Guard, and the Fedaykin are brought by boat through a labyrinth of canals full of dead ends to said gate. At night, the hollowed heads fitted with glow globes shine down like macabre jack-o'-lanterns. They are escorted into dark and damp corridors and placed into small cells with stone floors and containment fields. The screams of the tortured can be heard echoing through the halls of the facility, a promise, perhaps, of what they can expect if convicted by the High Council for the Emperor's accusations. The Fremen appear frozen with disbelief at the sight of so much water around them, but they understand what it means to be imprisoned. After considerable trouble in retrieving weapons and personal effects from the Fedaykin, the wardens bring you in your individual cells to activate fields, bathing everything in a crimson light. One of the lead wardens issues what sounds like an often recited litany of rules and procedures that pertain to the prison and your personal detainment. You're here for the duration, until His Majesty sees fit to request your presence for the trial. Don't worry, it shan't be a long wait. Give me a discipline difficulty 3 or higher roll, Archibald.
Okay, if this is to notice something, could I get a bonus on it, considering I've been to prison already?
This is not the same kind of prison. This is an Imperial prison on Kaitane. Very different from the Garden, which you were imprisoned in before. If it was the Garden, I would absolutely give you an extra die, no problem. At the very least, lower the difficulty for you.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Does observe apply to this?
Absolutely.
Okay, so yes. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's bad. 2 18s.
It's okay. You just end up with some complications here. A couple of the inmates don't really like the look of you. So before they even lock you up, take away your assets and stuff, a couple of them, like, just to show dominance, will, like, hey, come here. And, like, when you wander near, one of them pops in and, like, pops you on the face and stuff, and, like, it, just stuns you, injures you. But you've got a nice little shiner on your face, as if the day's events weren't enough for you.
Oh, I should have known that.
Inessa grabs the guy by the cuff of his shirt and just pulls him into the bars like ah. Since you're very important people that are being detained, you don't get the standard metal bars or what have you. They stick you in like an area that's contained through detainment fields.
Could I give him a shiner back? Gotta return
Sure.
the favor.
You reach through and you pop him, and the guy he shares a cell with watches as you just like, oh, that motherfucker. Like, after Inessa pulled him and stunned him into the bars, you sucker punch him, and you knock him flat out, and the other guy's like, all right. He just stops whatever it was that he was yelling at the time, like, ah! And he's like, oh shit. He just kind of saunters away. Goes back to reading his copy of Heretics of Dune. Let's see.
I look over to Nessa, shall we?
Let's see. Give me an understand difficulty 2 roll if you can.
Understand difficulty 2.
Correct.
Deductive reasoning or imperial politics?
Yeah, I'll allow focus.
Okay. Is this a truth? Which drive do you think this fits?
This is truth.
Truth.
I would
Okay.
say.
Okay, come on. Don't be stupid, please. Oh my god. No complications, but it's...
Wow.
You know.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that.
That was the best giggle, Eric.
Sorry. Okay, so this you're trying to wrap your head around this place and like you're hearing this cacophony of like torture and screams and stuff like that, and you can't pinpoint where it's coming from, and the shiner this guy gives you makes like your head throb and your ears are ringing. You're like from all the battle and stuff that you encountered early in the day, and you're not up to the task, it seems.
Could I
Hmm?
could I give you could I get a chance for a reroll if I give you threat?
No, won't allow it this time.
Okay. No.
As finale, as night falls, you see a bustle of activity as delegates from the Spacing Guild begin to arrive with a warden in their midst. The usually stoic guard appears as a nervous counterpart to the motionless guild representatives in their dark and drab apparel. The warden says nothing as the fields are deactivated, allowing you and your company to leave your detainment. The guild rep, a dour-looking man with abnormalities along his temples, assesses all of you and glances down on a film book before proceeding to motion for you to follow him and his assemblage of visored and armed bodyguards. This way, he says. What do you do?
Well, okay. What is this about?
He's not. He doesn't appear to be answering any of your questions. He just kind of turns on his heel and starts walking the way that he came in.
Okay, then I guess we'll follow.
And Assad looks at you and is like, "Did you do this?"
No. Did you?
No, of course not. I don't have a connection to the guild.
My niece-
Everybody's kind of wary about what's happening, and like they gingerly starts following the guild rep and his entourage down the corridor. You've maybe been here for like half a day, as it's now clearly nighttime. One by one, you're brought in through a series of lifts and stairs leading up to the roof of this massive complex, atop which you find another grouping of guild initiates waiting nearby what appears to be a large dropship. The fact that this is what awaits and not some kind of ornithopter indicates that whatever is about to happen to you now is no longer constrained to Kitane, but perhaps a foreboding highliner that awaits above you in orbit.
I'm gonna say
One by one.
we're probably gonna have a meeting with a navigator of some sort.
A navigator? Let's see. And it's like, what is this about? And the guild
I have
representatives
no
ignore
idea.
her. They just stand waiting for you to enter the dropship. no surprises here. Like, it looks like whatever's happening has been arranged in some way by the guild. They're getting involved. One by one, you're sort of led in by these representatives who don't offer anything in response to inquiries or even threats. You realize soon that this breach in imperial law shows the true power that the guild wields, as they're even able to undermine the authority of the emperor himself, presumably. The question on most of your company's mind at the moment is why, and why now? Do you do or say anything as you board the dropship?
Can you repeat that as well?
Essentially, it's just that they're loading you up, and this is very much. I mean, you understand politics and how the factions operate and stuff, and this is a little unusual for the guild. But on occasion, they have been known to flex in such a way that to basically undermine the emperor and be like, "We run this show, and without us, you're nothing." So but for whatever reason, you're not sure why, and nobody else seems to know either. The guild seems to be stepping in on your behalf, and you and your company, that is.
I think the guild needs us to a certain extent.
And as this kind of ponders the sentiments, like, need us? What could they possibly need with us?
Well, considering we know what we know, hopefully they don't fucking kill us. To be honest with you, it's already out.
The Varangian guard that stick to your sides are like, "Sir, if we're going to be able to perform our job, we're going to need our weapons." And that's when the guild representative's like, "Your weapons will be returned to you at the due time." It's like, until then, and he gestures again towards the drop ship. And they wait for you to proceed.
Yeah, I kind of put my hand down, like, we'll get them back. Just don't touch anything while they're in there. I've heard stories.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I tell everybody that.
Yeah, the Fremen and the Fedaykin are like, They follow you and they follow your lead.
Correct.
This will shift now to Leto and company. Those who were not constrained to the Imperial prison, but instead to the Landsred prison. Let's see here. Leto, Hines, Beatrice, Yui, and the rest are kept in a shared gilded cage within the Landsred prison. An unusual choice, given that most of the detained are spoken to individually and kept separate from their fellow conspirators. The room resembles a house suite aboard a Hayliner, with its large double doors, furnishings, and adjoining chambers for rest. Beatrice is currently in there. If anybody wants to play Kynes, Leto, or Yui, you're welcome to take part. But for the beginning of this scene, I'm going to say that a discipline difficulty 0 test can be made to discover something about your surroundings.
Who can we play?
Leto, Kynes, Beatrice, Yui, and the rest being like the Atreides guard. I forgot that they have a quality 4, so they weren't defeated such as they were in the battle. I forgot to factor that in. So they probably held their own against the Sardaukar, which is accurate, I would say.
I could do Leto, if you let me.
Okay.
Beatrice.
Eloise isn't held here then, I presume.
No.
I see.
Oh.
Okay. Interesting.
So anybody who wants to can roll a discipline difficulty 0. I'll give make the Leto.
If you want me to do it, you got to do it because I don't got a sheet.
Yeah, 1 second.
Thank you.
I'll take Kynes.
Kynes? All right. Very good. We'll make Kynes available to you.
I got 2 successes with Beatrice.
Okay. What did you say was the roll again?
Discipline, difficulty 0. That means it's an open test basically. However many successes you get determines what you're able to discover. Beatrice gets 2 successes. So anybody else who gets any will be able to notice the same thing or more. 2 successes for Leto.
Yep.
You said discipline, correct?
Correct.
All right, let's do truth for times here, and no focus.
All right, 2 successes around the park here. Okay, so let's see. So that earns you full momentum for what's coming. Let's see.
Well, that's nice.
There you go.
Never say I'm not benevolent. Okay, so you, Leto and his entourage, everybody who was captured on the floor of the Hall of Assembly, were escorted to this place, part of the security wing of the new assembly building. The Sadakar are right outside. We're told to wait here, and this was several hours ago. Night has already fallen, and you're waiting eventually to be brought before an imperial magistrate. Leto doesn't trust these trappings, and he's just kind of naturally wary. Unless you want to say something specific, Leto, to the rest of them here, while you have them in your audience, but you can. Otherwise, you can maintain discipline and not speak while you're in these confines.
Something doesn't feel right.
And you're correct. When you hear Leto say that, and you start looking around, all of you, you begin to notice that there are some obvious and some not so obvious signs that this room has been bugged. So much so that if it would probably take you the remainder of an entire day to 2 days perhaps to just go through the room and remove all of the different listening devices that have been put here. None of you, I don't believe, have been in Jesuit training, but any of you who have, you might be able to communicate a different way if you have a plan, or if you have if you just want to evaluate your situation.
I think Beatrice is gonna sort of cling to Yue, and just sort of follow his cues on whatever he does.
He's like, we're being watched.
Didn't the Atreides have some sort of battle language?
They did. So between Yue and Leto, they can communicate just with hand signals and coax away. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would definitely be talking to Yue. Oh, you kind of using those hand signals, and I'm going to ask, is Beatrice all right?
Yeah, he nods.
She probably looks a little freaked out, but physically she's okay.
Tell her good job, and
there's the Fadakin aren't here, correct? They went with.
No,
Archibald.
Fadakin's with me, with Archie.
Okay, so yeah, kind of know when to secretly communicate with them.
Yeah, you've been separated by from your Fadakin entourage, your warriors that protect you, and you've all been stripped of your weapons and stuff, all your necessary assets. So you're just kind of like, what do we do here? We're just waiting to be, brought before a judge, essentially, to be tried for presumably treason. You had remarked, Leto, that Shaddam violated at least 2 large tenets of the Great Convention when he secretly aided the Harkonnens financially and militarily against your house and your allies. And in response, the captain had remarked to you as he was walking you into this place that only the High Council can decide that for sure. Given the current circumstances, their appeal for his motion doesn't seem likely. But for your motion, it doesn't seem likely. But they did assure you that you'd have a fast and speedy trial, however. Not very comforting, obviously, but the charges... Go ahead.
I was gonna, hand signal over to Yue. Do you think that this trial is going to be fair?
He just shakes his head. He's like, in battle language, he signs back. He's like, Emperor's too powerful, wields too much leverage. Chome, he signs. You realize, as Leto, that the Shaddam has something like over 50% of the shares in Chome, so he kind of runs the circus. That's one of the reasons why, as Leto wanted to, undermine him there first, and then use that momentum to carry it into the, translate it into like a bill of particulars with the Landsrat, and it worked for the most part. But people are still too afraid of the Emperor and his Sardaukar. Let's see. The charges you've been handed or something range from conspiracy to commit insurrection to attempting to incite a riot inside the Hall of Oratory. Despite the scattered conversation outside in the hours that took place before the assembly, the mood is pretty somber at the moment. The quiet, though, is broken by what sounds like a clashing commotion outside the confines of the chamber.
Okay. Who here is battle, like, who is a warrior here other than me?
You look around the room and assess. You've got a Sook Doctor in training, the Judge of the Change, and your personal guard.
Okay, I'm gonna get my personal guard, and we're gonna go next to the door. Listen in, see if you hear any voices.
Like in Atreides battle language, they signal like three people. You only saw 2 guards outside when you were escorted in here.
Get ready for a fight if we need to. I think this may be an assassination attempt of some sort. Right now, I'm scared.
They get back. They tell you to get back to get to the back of the room and take cover in case they barge in here to try to kill you. But then you hear like a soft clicking sound coming from the door. Someone just used a palm lock and successfully deactivated the lock and lets a swing open. And standing there are 3 figures, all shrouded, not Bene Gesserits. They appear to have some sort of like helmet and chest armor, long robes, and what appear to be like these long staves made out of something like orichalcum or plasteel.
As they're opening the door, if I have a blade, I'm going to put their next to the throat, and I'm going to ask,
no blade.
Who are you?
You step forward, despite the Atreides guard like motioning for you to get back. And when one of the figures steps forward, you see the glint of the light on their glass-looking helmet is covering, and it looks like a guild representative, a steersman by the looks of it. There's melange gas swirling around. You can't see any of their features clearly. You are leaving this place now. Come with us.
I'm not going anywhere until you tell me what's going on. And you will be taking my friend.
They don't respond. They just turn back around, and when the door opens up and the glow globes kind of float into place, you see 2 unconscious Sardaukar on the ground. You, as Leto has business to finish here on Kaitane, and as much as you would like to go back to Arrakis, to go back to your family, you know that you started something here, and that if you leave now, it will die on the floor of the Hall of Oratory. If you stay and see it through, though, there may be a chance, however slim, that you could succeed in unseating the Emperor. Everyone else, however,
he knows what's riding on this, especially he would definitely stay. He knows that's just not, I guess, Leto's thing. He knows that his family's over there, but on the other hand, he also knows that the Emperor is not a good Emperor, so
correct.
He would 100%.
You see, you see not Kynes. Yue is like, my lord, I cannot leave you here like this. See, anyway, what does Kynes? Kynes, you know that like you need to go back to Arrakis, especially considering
yeah,
what's happening.
Kynes is-
Although you've been stripped of your title as Judge of the Change before the Emperor and the Landsrad, like this is not your home anymore. Never was. So you know, unless anybody else wants to step in and say anything, you know, it seems clear to Yue. Like I'll. It's like I understand, my lord. I will look after.
I would
Jessica,
tell
son.
Yui, I would be like, Yui, this is our only chance to do something like this. It may be slim, but I have to take it. Even if I die.
understand, my lord.
And then he's gonna take like a little coin. Remember, Luck's on our side, and he flicks it all the way over. And he's like, I think it's heads.
You flip the coin, and sure enough, fate is on your side. Yui nods and motions for Beatrice to follow him out. I don't know what this is, but if it'll get us out of here, all the better.
Good luck, Duglito.
As of you, Kynes, I hope to see you on Arrakis again.
The guild reps escorts you out, and they quickly walk you out of the back of the building, where their transport is awaiting. Now we'll shift over to Elois, who is facing a similar sort of a much more dangerous predicament. Let's see. Amidst the chaos and confusion, you lost her. Comms were jammed by the Sardaukar, making any kind of coordination all but impossible. One by one, you watched as the Emperor's troops forcefully took everyone around you into captivity. When it came your turn, they sequestered you in the office you enjoyed for a short time as Judge of the Change inside the Silver Needle. From the window, you saw how many who fled the new assembly building, rounded up by the Emperor's forces for question. Before all this came to pass, however, you made your move and communicated with the guild and convinced them to install a quarantine on the entire planet of Kaitane, providing one of Allfather's explosive devices as proof to necessitate this action. Now that the die has been cast, however, all the visions you experienced begin to coalesce into one solidified reality and into the one that is playing out in front of you now. You see new faces emerge into your oracular perception. A child's face. No, children's faces. The inhuman face. Its presence occasionally lurking. And Amira's weathered face set in a desolate world similar to, but not quite like, Arrakis. Did you create this reality with your actions, or did they dream it? Your meditation is cut short when you hear the sudden opening of the chamber door. Long shadows envelop you as you are seized again by the Sardaukar. The Emperor demands your presence.
Of course he does.
This way. A troop of them escorts you out of Silver Needle. They take you through a series of familiar-looking passages and tunnels that inevitably lead you to the Emperor's main throne room in the Imperial Palace. As you are escorted into the high-ceilinged hall, where courtiers can be seen being hurried out of the chamber in anticipation of this private audience, you see a flock of them move in your direction. Some of them are holding like the imperial dog or what have you. Give me a communication difficulty 2 or higher roll, as some of these courtiers may owe you a favor or two. You may have control over them.
Let's see. In that case,
You have full momentum, by the way.
Cool. I will ask because I have House Cheshire Eye language under my communicate.
Mhm.
Would that be a potential focus here if one of them is one of my agents?
Yes, it may.
Okay, cool. All right, I will spend. I'll spend one momentum just on the off chance I generate
Sure.
more.
Excellent.
We'll call this justice. Still, everything I'm doing is going to be justice probably till the end of this finale.
Okay. Fair, fair.
Easy focus, yes. 4 successes.
Fuck. Okay. Wow. All right. So yeah, you can use what you got. You got the 2 that you needed, and you could use the remainder to create a trait or a temporary asset, such as your courtiers that House Spicere utilizes. If you wanted to do that.
Um, yeah. I think I'll use the 2 additional successes rather than generate momentum to create the courtier's trait. I do have friends in this throne room currently.
Excellent. So yeah, you see one of your courtiers here, and she has knowledge of the Cheshire Eye language. So on the surface, she goes to you and says, "Oh, Lady Elois," and touches your hand briefly before moving on with the rest of the other courtiers. But with her eyes, she says something, and because you rolled so well, you get the entirety of her message and not just a portion. Amira, or she uses the language for consort and Stalusa Secundus. The training
I see.
planet of the Sardaukar.
Yep. Yeah, no, that
Yep.
makes sense. That makes sense. She's better than them. Let's train her. Got it. Cool. Not great. Don't love that.
All...
Eloise has a self-control though, so like nothing, just stone face.
Yeah, she just kind of smile and nod and grit your teeth as you continue to move forward to face the Emperor. Already present is a full complement of shielded Sardaukar and the Emperor's own truthsayer, Lady Elois. Unfortunate that we have to keep meeting under such circumstances. This is a new problem that requires the touch of my most recent Judge of the Change. The Guild has declared a quarantine on Kaitane and refused an audience with me or my truthsayer. The gall of proclaiming a quarantine on my planet without my approval. Though it is well known that you and the Guild have parted ways, you still have a particular means of communicating with them, yes? And you've already shown your command of diplomacy. Your work in disabling the devices brought from those insurrectionists have absolved you of their ridiculous conspiracy. However, your consort is guilty of slaying my personal guard and remains in custody. I would hate to have to keep you 2 apart for a moment longer. Perhaps you and I come to an accord. Convince the Guild to abolish their quarantine, and I will happily drop all charges associated with your paramour. You can, if you choose, try to make a discipline observation roll to see if he knows that you were the one behind initiating the. You're free to try, and you're at
I would love to
5
try.
momentum.
Yes,
Sure.
I would love to try indeed. I'm gonna wager self-control does not help me here.
No, it does not.
Okay.
That's
I'll
later.
I'll spend another momentum.
Very good. He is extremely deceitful. That's one of his focuses. So this is going to be, I'm going to say, difficulty 4 if you want to succeed. I'll go ahead and mark that momentum. So you're rolling 3 dice and need to get 4 or higher. Ugh.
Okay. Were all of my assets seized, or just the ones that could be a threat?
Just all of you. Well, you were technically a prisoner or suspect, whatever. But he did tell you that you're not being lumped in with the conspirators. So you have anything that is not considered non-threatening.
So I have my spice then. Okay,
Correct, sure.
great. I'm gonna use my minor spice mutation with my spice to turn that 18 into a 1.
Okay.
And then I'll use one of my 2 determination to turn the 17 into a 1. So 5 successes
Oof.
total.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So you earn that momentum back, and you can tell that he's playing stupid. And he's basically like, these motherfuckers cause a quarantine on my planet. So they're going to undo it. Essentially, is what he's vying for here, and he's dangling a mirror in front of you as leverage.
But he definitely knows I did it.
Yeah, you
Okay.
suspect that he didn't figure that out, but someone provided it to him.
Okay. Someone else. Okay. So there is a leak between the guild and me and the emperor. Got it.
Correct.
Which makes sense. I kind of expected that. Cool. I think.
So you have an option. You can reject his proposal and tell him to go fuck himself, or you can accept and get a mirror back. If you don't, however, well, things are going to go in a very interesting direction. You can try to lie to him, or use deceit in any way.
You said his truth sayer is there, correct? So I'd be lying to not just him, but also Mohiam.
Lots of luck. Again, you have mostly full momentum, so you have a good chance, but I will warn you, if you try to deceit here, it's going to be tough.
All right, here's what she's going to say then. Once she reads the Emperor, like her face breaks and she smiles a little bit. It's more of a smirk. She's like, I don't think we need to play coy here, Shaddam. You know that I'm
Fair
the
enough.
one
The
who
public
had this
kneels here.
lockdown imposed.
She tells the truth, my lord, William says. He leans in and he's like, well, since we're being honest, you have a very simple task ahead of you, Lady Elois. Undo what you did, and I'll return your beloved to you, or the both of you will spend the rest of your days on Seleucus Secundus.
I wish I knew the equivalent of a wish motherfucker would in Dune language, because that's what Eloise would say. But what she'll say is, I think if you banish me and my beloved, you'll confirm the suspicions I've laid in the guild's mind, the suspicion I myself hold, that you are Allfather's puppet already, and that's why you avoided stopping yourself from breathing in those nanites. You made no motion to protect yourself. Instead, you made motions to seize everyone.
What a ridiculous assertion. And you see he looks to Mohiam, and she's like, she's not lying, my lord. However, and she's like, well, you already confessed, so there's no point in using the voice on you to force you to confess. Since you're effectively rejecting his thing, he's just like, all right, very well. Let's see. Damn the guild. He's like, you may have saved your skin these times, Lady Elois. However, the same will not be said for your love. And he's like, do you know what happens to those who oppose me and kill Sadakar in my house? They get sent to Seleucia, where the new initiates will hunt them as part of their training.
Well, given your Sadakar were no match for my beloved, I have doubt your initiates will succeed where they failed.
He's fuming mad. He's like, enough of this, you're dismissed, he says, and he orders his people to seize you, basically.
Enjoy your power while it lasts, Emperor.
He looks over his shoulder as he gets up from his throne. He was like, you caused this damned quarantine, of course. Take her away. The Sardaukar present moved to secure you, and your vision of Amira on a desolate world fractures and changes to reveal your weathered face alongside hers. Remove all assets from your sheet and Amira's, and add a new trait to your characters: exile.
What just happened? Holy shit. You're just like me, Eloise.
I mean, I think fuck around and find out is appropriate here.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
Man, from imperial favor to exile in like 10 minutes. Although, how
Yeah,
are they gonna
speaking of
get
which.
you? How are they gonna get Eloise to Secundus under quarantine?
Oh, Saddam is confident, as usual, that he will be able to get rid of this quarantine himself. He says as much under his breath as he's getting huffing and puffing, getting up from his throne. But in the meantime, that's what's going to happen to you. You're going to get sequestered to prison, and this has immediate, or not immediate, but eventual consequences for your house. In this particular case, your ruthlessness just went up because you basically are like, "Fuck it, I don't care." You told it to the emperor, but you are losing imperial support as a result. Um, so yeah,
Was exile the two pile, or where would
Oh
no
no, we're
worse.
we're going to a worse place.
which is yeah.
So here's the thing. Secundus is worse for Eloise and Amira. If she had gotten exiled to 2-pile, that's bad for everyone else.
Hmm,
Because then Allfather gets nanites and another person with prescience.
good point.
Marking this to remind myself what just happened. I'm not gonna forget or anything, but let's see. Yeah. Yeah, and with that, the Sardaukar remove you from it, and you think as you're being escorted out of the throne room, you spot a guild rep kind of leaning up against the wall. You remember that woman that saw you initially at the beginning of the season on Jabberwock, Sayla Dorliak, I think her name was. She
Yes.
was like a low level steersman. She's just there, and she's kind of surprised to see you being dragged away by the Sardaukar. And as you're being done, you kind of look over your shoulder, and she kind of just fades into the shadows, disappears. Okay. We're going to lose a point of momentum here because we are shifting scenes to Arrakis, to Daphne and Varys.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. As the hours tick down to minutes before the Harkonnens unleash their assault on the Imperial Basin, panic and violence fills the streets. A city of millions forced to flee to the towns and villages that dot the basin. The ornithopter controls jump in your hands as it throttles up into the air and over the abandoned homes and burning ground cars. Varys checks his still suit and the tethering on the cargo sitting in your hold before making his way back into the co-pilot's control console. Everything is ready. I checked it twice, he says. All that's left now is using the comm channel John established for us to keep tabs on what's going on. Nothing fancy, just standard Cheshire House battle language, which means you'll have to handle coordinating with your security team once we land. I put out a few feelers with my contacts in the basin in case we need to retreat. Otherwise, we should be safe among the Fremen along the shield wall.
Thank you for that. I suppose Sir John's priority should be protecting the Regis Familia.
Absolutely. What sort of ornithopter would Daphne take for this particular trip? If there had to be like a category, like 3 categories of ornithopter, you have your very small, rickety 2-seater with like almost nothing in the way of room for personal effects. You have your mid-sized standard ornithopter, which can sit up to 6 people, and you can have cargo, and there's like a gun emplacement. And then there's like the military, heavy, large ornithopter that has like an assortment of missiles and shields and all the extra bells and whistles.
Probably the middle one.
The mid-sized one. Okay.
I imagine that the military one would be slower and more difficult to maneuver.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, and she's not here to fight. She's here to get the fuck away and maybe rescue people if she can.
Makes sense. Yeah, you were told by Ajan and everybody, like, you need to get out. You were initially heading towards the northern siege along the shield wall, Signbow Pions. But the problem with that particular siege is that it was destroyed all the way back in Leviathan, if you recall. That was the siege that Soshir had taken you and Masim to after he kidnapped you from the palace. That later blown up by the Harkonnens. So, there's not too many places that you know of that you can immediately flee to. You can fly east to Sihaya Tabir, or you can go to the closer equivalent, closer in terms of like proximity to Carthage. If you go due west over the shield wall, that's where Siege Tabir is located, where Silgar, Shani, and the rest of them are held up. And of course, they're the last but not least of the sieges that you know about within the basin is there's an observatory mountain where the razzia took place, and the closest one is the one that's sort of almost due south of Carthage, southwest. Hagasiet, also known as the Haunted Siege.
Hey, so wanting to be among allies, but also wanting to be relatively close, she's will probably head to Siege Tabir.
Okay. You're heading over to Stilgar and his tribe. Fly over the what appears to be like the Haga Basin, heading towards the edge of the shield wall itself. Give me a discipline observation roll of 2 or higher.
Okay. Fortunately, I have that as a focus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yay!
There's you know that because of the impending attack, a lot of flights have been grounded, so there shouldn't be too many people flying around right now. But you see 2 blips show up on the radar just as you're leaving Carthage and the comfort of the Imperial Basin, and they start closing in fast. Varys notices as well, and he kind of looks over. Let's see, take action. Okay. I need you to make a piloting roll. Difficulty 2. Difficulty 2 being that you just made that discipline roll, so you see this coming and you're able to move out of the way.
I am so glad I got the piloting bonus.
I told you it was a wise choice.
Last week.
You got 4 successes? Wow.
Nice.
Okay.
Now we all.
So you have a full complement of momentum now for the scene, which we lost the scene. We lost the momentum actually. So you have almost full complement. You have a 5 momentum currently sitting in your pool. Okay. Let's see here.
Mm.
You see the Varys looks back and makes confirmation of what he's looking at when he looks over his shoulder. Harkonnens! 2 Thopters from full complement. He goes to reach for the comm, and he's like he picks it up and it's dead. He's like, they're jamming our comms. We need to lose them fast or we're finished. So now you have to make a decision. Do you want to fly or do you want to shoot?
Fly.
Heal some hardcore.
I thought you might. Okay. All right, Varys undoes his harness and gets on the gun.
Don't die, Varys.
Daphne will call back. Don't shoot unless it's us or them.
All right. So, this is you. This is the House of Cheshire logo. These are the two Harkonnen Thopters chasing you. This is where you need to go, right here.
Oh, okay.
Far away.
So the way this is going to work, any roll successes that you generate will allow you to move forward. It'll be balanced out by the Harkonnen successes. So if they make a move roll, you make a move roll. Whoever ends up with the net successes moves forward, or you get moved back. If they try to shoot you from one or more zone away, it's going to increase their difficulty, and so on and so forth. This is your current position right now. Because you noticed them and they got the first shot off, it's your turn to go first. If you want to move, all the standard rules apply. If you want to move subtly, or if you want to move, well, you can't move boldly here, but because they basically are staying in one place and you're either going backwards or forwards on that track. But you can make the move and then use some momentum to keep the initiative and so on and so forth. How would you like it?
I'm going to fly as fast as I can.
Okay. Give me a move roll.
Alright, I'm spending 1 momentum to roll 3 dice.
Do it.
Very good. Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
fuck.
Jesus. Expensive threat.
Okay.
Get rid of that 20.
Well, first off, that 20, I'm using Prana Bindu to re-roll.
Good choice.
Oh, it's
Okay,
better.
5. Alright.
It's fine. Okay. So you got a success. You got 2 successes, and potentially a complication. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This one. Okay. You get +1 to dodging out of the way, and that brings you to 3 successes, which is just what you needed. They narrowly fire. You see, there's 2 of them, and they have this sort of game they're playing. One of them will zoom up close to you to try to get a shot off, and they seem to be using shields. Both of the ornithopters appear to be shielded, but they're using like these big mala emplacements that just and try to shoot you down. Your ornithopter is unshielded, but what they do is they seem to activate the shield when they're not firing, and the other one fires, and then that's their tactic basically. They're kind of switching back and forth. So you manage to move out of the way as they're trying to catch up to you and alternating shooting and taking turns firing at you. Let's see. You can keep the initiative or hand it back to them. You get, what do you get? 3 successes? So you move here. 2, 3.
Okay, I'm spending another momentum to keep initiative.
Okay, another 2. 1 second.
So close to being out of there.
So close, but now they get their move.
Alright, Prana Bindu.
Oh, God.
Prana Bindu again.
Wowzers. 1 second. I have to.
Oh, it's not horrible. 12.
I'm going to spend some threat. Real quick here.
Determination. I'm spending determination.
1 second, because I have to roll for based on who's giving them command, which in this case is Piter de Vries.
Oh, fuck
So,
him.
after
No!
roll-
No! I don't want to be taken prisoner by Piter.
Exactly. Let's see. Have piloting as well. Good God. Okay, so you get moved back 1 space. Only.
Could I spend determination for a reroll?
You may, yeah.
Okay.
Just don't fuck it up this time.
You know, it's roll 20.
I know. I'm getting crappy rolls.
Wow.
Oh,
There you
fuck.
go. 3.
Okay, so they tried to bring you in and like it's not happening. Let's see. Varys will try to take a shot. Oh wait, no, this is
I would be
not good with las guns, but
so boned without the pilot focus.
yeah, he fires on one of them and just misses. They move out of the way.
And you said those flying lessons weren't going to come in handy when you were a wee girl.
They got 3 successes, which is precisely what you needed. I'm going to, on their turn, I'm going to keep the initiative. 1 second. Yeah. So 2. And I'll try in vain to roll again. Let's see. Because there's 2 of them, obviously. Let's move. 3. Yes. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh,
Okay.
jeez.
So you got 3, and they got 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see. You were like here, and then they went 1, 2, 3 back here. Wait. They brought you. Yeah. You went here, and then they brought you back this way.
Mm-hmm.
So they're keeping you as much as they can. They're trying to gain on you. They kept the initiative. Now it's back to you. You can you can give Varys a chance to shoot at them, or you can try to move again, and then
I'm
keep the
moving.
initiative.
I'm moving.
Okay. You're like, no.
How much momentum do we have?
3.
Use it.
Yep.
Okay. Go for it.
Ooh,
Shit,
3.
let me see what they get on their moves.
Hail Satan on that roll, also.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Jesus. 666.
Wow. Negated by one of the Harkonnen ornithopters. So you see, like you're trying to lose them, and they're keeping in contact with you, and they're still continuing to fire down. Did you want to spend the 2 momentum or pay 2 threat to keep the initiative?
Don't you have a point, too? Determination point?
She used the determination point to re-roll because you rolled abysmally.
Yeah,
that's it.
I do have. I can start each game with an extra point of determination. But I would rather keep the one that I have in case I get another shit roll like that. I'm spending momentum to keep initiative.
Oh, okay. So you're down to 1. Okay.
Okay.
So you're just like you're pushing as hard as you can. Go ahead and roll. 3. I'm low on threat this evening, so I'm just gonna roll the 2 dice that he gets. 1 because of Piter. Let's see, focus.
There you go.
2 successes, so you
Damn it.
improve by 1, and they suffer complication. Okay, so can move right there. As you know, one of them fires, and like you maneuver it in such a way around this chasm where they're both following you, sort of like single file. And when you dive down, they try to like swerve around, and one of them gets in the way of the other shot, and you can see one of the Harkonnens like yelling and like motioning, like, "The hell are you doing? Get off my back!" And the other one eases off and kind of tries to come around the other side to basically cut you off. Let's see. The other one, it's their turn, so they're gonna go. How do I tell that they've been injured? Token like that. Oh, I know. So that equals 2. So they've taken some damage. Well, one of them has already. Okay. Let's see. This guy's turn is going to roll. One success. So you come back this way. They do not have enough to keep the initiative because I need threat for later. So, yeah, it's back to you.
Oh, fuck
Shit.
Alright, I am burning that other determination.
This'll probably send you over the edge. But let me see what their move roll is in response. You'd just be staying still. So you could fail and then get moved back 2, or you could burn it and stay where you are.
Pranavindu!
Oh, don't forget Pranavindu, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I could
That's what we rolled,
theoretically
18.
get 3 successes or more. If I use determination for a reroll.
If you use determination, one of the die turns into a 1, which gives you 2, which is exactly what they rolled. They rolled a 1.
Okay.
And then if you
to
reroll the
catch
other
up.
one with Pranavindu, you can potentially get 3+.
I will try that. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Ah, shit. So if you burnt, did you want to keep the determination point?
I will burn it to stay where I am.
Okay. All right. Did you want to keep the initiative by paying with momentum and/or threat?
I'll give you some threat.
Okay. Success.
Pranavindu on that 14. Fuck!
What's with the 17s?
I don't know! But they need to stop.
2 successes. So you went forward 1, and then you get backtrack 2.
Ah, shit.
And it's like they're just circling around, and like you're engaged in this chase as they're like, you know, zooming across the canyons and stuff like that, and chasing you around the Mount Idaho, and they're shooting up the side of the mountain as you're like, you know, dipping one wing down and like skirting the edges of the canyon, trying to get away as fast as you can. You paid for to keep the initiative, so now it's back to them. One of them does fire on you, and the other one's going to keep the initiative and then go ahead and try to move closer to you to overtake you. Let's see. First, we'll start with battle. This is going to come at a higher difficulty than normal because they're so many zones away. They get 2 dice with a focus. They get 3 successes. Okay. 3 successes, and let's see, I need you to make a move roll to set your difficulty. Your difficulty is increased automatically by +2 because you're 2 zones away from them. So essentially, you're whatever you already have all of that. You just need to get 1 or more success to set the difficulty and not get shot at by the Harkonnens. There it is. Okay. You narrowly move out of the way, and like Varys is like losing his lunch back there. He's getting ready to fire again. The other one tries to make a move roll to see if he can keep you in place. 2 with a focus. Yes. 2 successes. So here's what happens. You end up right in the same zone as them.
Oh fuck.
As one of them like catches up and like basically they're coming at you from 2 different angles. In a pincer attack. They're not trying to capture you. They're trying to destroy you. They're trying to cut off the head of the snake, so to speak. That is their round, and now it's back to you. Varys is like, just get me in the right position. I'll blow them out of the sky.
Oh fuck. Fuck me. Oh fuck me.
Shit.
Oh god.
Well then.
Okay,
they don't need to roll to keep
brought
you
it into
in sight.
roll one of those.
Probably wise.
Oh, do we have any
Oh man,
benevolence?
where are the benevolences when you need them?
Oh fuck. Well, at least that's not a 20.
Yeah.
Jesus fuck.
Oh, that's rough. Okay. So, major complication. One of the engines dies as both of them like fly akimbo next to yours, and just like one of them you steer in one way to avoid being shot by the other, but the other one just goes. Brrr. Their shields are down momentarily though while they're firing and blowing up the side of your wing, and now you're just like cresting. You're floating around on the desert wind. Varys tries to take a shot off if you want initiative. In which case, I'll get 2 threat probably. Or 1 threat if you want to spend the last momentum.
Yeah, last momentum.
Hold on, he says. Okay. He is going to buy. He's going to buy me some threat for the purposes of rolling an additional die since you're out of momentum. He's going to roll battle. This is faith. 3 dice. Okay. No focuses. 2 successes. Oh, and a complication. Fuck. All right. Let's see. 2. Yeah, no. He tries to fire, and he manages to pepper one of the ornithopters, but just in time they switch the shield on and turn away, and they're like, you're getting caught in the midst of this, and you see black smoke trailing from one of your wings off to the side. It got shredded by the mollifier. This thing is not going to stay aloft for much longer. What would you like to do?
Right.
You could conceivably pay so and try for a crash landing within the basin and not outside the shield wall. Complications will make it so that you're outside the shield wall, which is bad. Or you can try to, you can use. You can create an asset. Wanted to say like you packed a las gun and now you're like you want him to get off of your back. You could try to do that.
Or there's like a compartment just enough for you to fit inside. They can go in and then crash.
So we're in like part of the like among the rocks.
Yes.
Okay. Could I create an asset that's a pair of wingsuits so we can just
okay.
bail out, hide on the rocks, and try and survive that way?
You need 2 successes because normally you need 2 to create one. But Varys already demonstrated that he has one back in
Okay.
Leviathan. So the difficulty is lowered by 1, but of course you need 1 for you as well, unless you're planning on like grabbing hold of Varys as he jumps out of the ornithopter. It's up to you.
I don't think wingsuits work that way.
Right.
I mean, if
They
you tell
drag
me
him
that
down,
they,
probably.
if you tell me they do, I'll believe you, GM.
It would be very difficult for him to land in that kind of situation,
Okay, what would the roll
as
then
demonstrated
be?
previously with Nadim and the Harkonnen. He jumped on top of out of the plane, out of the dropship.
What would the roll be then for that?
You can, if you wanted to create a series of suits, you just have to get what would it be? Understand difficulty 2. To like have enough foresight to have packed an extra one in addition to Varys's.
Okay. I can do that.
Okay.
Would
Yeah, 1 success.
would
Okay.
a Fremen focus apply?
No, Fremen don't have access to
Okay.
this sort of equipment. Wow. Okay. He, with only 1 wingsuit left, he gives it to you. You have to survive this.
Can't survive without you.
I'll be fine. Just go. Take the suit, put it on, and get them to safety, he says. You had to have known this would have been a possibility.
We can go together, can't we?
Too unstable. He looks down at the rocks below.
Try and bait them away.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I'll try and bait them away.
Bait them? Oh shit. Okay, so the difficulty to move effectively has gone up because now one of your wings is just crapped out. So you're in
No.
dire situation right now.
I'm going to use the wingsuit. But when
okay.
jumping out, try and make sure that they see me. So like that's where the Duchess is. Give up on the ornithopter.
Oh, I see. Wow. He's like, okay, all right. He agrees to it, and he goes and he goes to the cockpit and he tries to steady the ornithopter as best as he can. He's like, now jump. Okay, now I need you to make a move roll. Piloting doesn't count here.
I would assume so.
Understandably, I think. But you can use your determination if it align, and I think this will definitely be duty. I think because you're trying to protect what's remains of House Cheshire as you jump out of the ornithopter as it's trailing black smoke and the 2 Harkonnen craft are encroaching on your position. Go ahead.
Hey, you have momentum?
You do not have any momentum. It is gone. So if you want extra dice, you have to pay the piper.
May roll 20 be ever in your favor.
To have some threat.
Okay, how much?
Just 2 for an extra die.
Just 1. Yeah, it's one, and then 3 for 2. roll
Yes.
3 dice?
That's what I meant. Roll 3. I'm rolling 3 dice.
Okay, very good. Go right ahead. You need.
Oh fuck!
Whoa!
Oh.
Great.
Ah, ah,
You get 1 momentum. As you leap from the ornithopter, it's starting to catch fire across the back, the back support, and Varys is like barely holding it together. Let me see if he manages something interesting here. For love, he will roll 3s. He'll pay that, and he is swift. Let's see. And deceitful. Yeah. He got 5 successes. Holy shit. Okay. It's like
He's
you
like a fucking
jump out of the
scumbag.
ornithopter, and just as one of them is in mid-turn and like focusing on firing on the rest of the ornithopter, he hits the air brake, and the thing flings back and rams right into one of the Harkonnen thopters, and effectively, because it's shooting, its shield is down. The remaining wing cuts part of it in twain. And the thing explodes in the sky. There's a big bright explosion in the night sky, and both thopters start to go down. The remaining one just kind of like, what the fuck just happened? Just flies forward and tries to turn back around to try to get another shot. But you're well out of view now as you're like falling, and then like you're having to like, use your prana bendu conditioning to straighten yourselves out and for the wingsuit to kind of catch the drift, and then basically you're riding on the winds of the desert. So that's cool. I'm gonna say with roll that well, you're able to either you can make the decision to float, glide down to like a mesa or some jagged rocky outcrop, or you can try to make it down to the bottom or the base of the Imperial Basin. There's no worms here or anything like that, but you can make it down here if you wanted to.
Yeah, but how are you getting back up these days?
Yeah, essentially she's gonna aim for the best spot to hide.
Okay. That's gonna be a stealth roll. With these guys, with half of their number already dead, they're gonna have to roll really good to spot you, and I don't feel that confident in their ability. They will make an effort, however, and they'll roll 3. And they do not have a focus for this. It's the brightest of. You need 2 successes or higher to be able to hide successfully among the rocks at night with the Harkonnens like putting on their night vision goggles, looking at the viewport and scanning the shield wall for your location.
Okay, would a infiltration focus apply?
I'll allow it. Yeah, I'll allow it.
Okay.
This is just how you were taught, climb and stay close to the shadows, don't move. As the spotlights move over the top of you. Whoo, that was good. Okay. So you stay perfectly hidden. When you feel the scan of or you see the Harkonnen ornithopter fly overhead or fly near, you stay prone or you move and stay in a particular position. And using your prana bendu conditioning, you're perfectly still. They can't differentiate between you and the rock face, and they fly right past you. They do a couple passes, and then you see them just kind of like hovering around, like looking like, where the fuck did she go? Shit. And now that the Varys and the ornithopter have crashed down in the right on the edges of the shield wall, the remaining one flies down to confirm bodies. What do you do?
Shit. My inclination is to try and use the communinet that I have to bait them into going somewhere else.
Oh. As a distraction. Okay.
Yeah, or thinking that there's a bunch of Fremen on the way.
Okay. That's an interesting distraction. That will, because I've already established that they had jammers, it's going to be particularly difficult. But because you're no longer on the ornithopter and you're using your own personal communicate and you're away from their radius, you can make that guess. You can make that try. It's going to require, though, a difficulty 3 or higher communications roll.
I'm going to spend that momentum for another die.
Oh, okay. You got 4. Oh shit. Okay, so you get it back. Unless you wanted to spend it for something immediately. You can ask me a question. But yeah, you see like the ornithopter like fly down and then it's circling like a vulture, like to try to see if anybody's moving, and it's like firing into the debris. Like, you got 4 successes. So what do you do? What do you say into your communinet to basically lie to them or to get them distracted?
Um. So Daphne will try disguise her voice.
Okay.
And essentially say that a fleet of Fremen ornithopters has been spotted in the Imperial Basin. They're on their way.
Oh, so you're basically like the reinforcements are on their way, kind of like
Yeah, and like
pull
they're
them
gonna
into
be
the-
here in
okay.
like now. You need like
Mm.
essentially make them think that they are about to get shot and they should leave.
Okay, a second. I have to make a very important roll.
Oh Jesus,
Wow.
that's terrible.
Okay.
He has
Prana
Prana Bindu. He has Prana Bindu. He can reroll one of those.
He can.
Oh, still bad.
Oh boy. All right. So.
Can he have that momentum?
I mean, if you want it, if you want him to, sure.
I want him to live.
Let's see. One success.
I was gonna say, well, roll 20 doesn't want him to live.
No, apparently not. So yeah, you see they fire a bunch of like a bunch of shots into the wreckage. They look through their binoculars and they're like, you hear the chatter, the Harkonnen battle chatter over the line. It's like, we need to get out. It's like if they're already been alerted and the dust is in the wind, we need to flee now. And you see like they start activating their afterburners and off they go. They blast off into the night. Are you gonna make your way down to the wreckage, or are you gonna stay put? What do you do? What do you do?
I'm gonna make my way down to the wreckage.
Okay. All right, you make your way down to the base of the Imperial Basin, and you approach the flaming wreckage that is the Ornithopter. And as you come up, you don't see him. So you start having you feel like panic settling in, and you start like rummaging through the debris to try to reach him. And that's when you see it when you pull apart part of the fuselage. You see his hand. There's blood, and you go to check to see if he's alive. And you'll find out as soon as we come back from our break in 10 minutes.
That was Varys, right?
And welcome back. We have returned from our break. We last left off. Daphne and Varys took to the air at night to escape the incoming Harkonnen siege on Carthage, but they were chased by two military-style Harkonnen ornithopters with an elite team of special soldiers sent by Peter de Vries, the twisted mentat of the now departed Baron Harkonnen. And they proceeded to engage in a cat and mouse chase around the Imperial Basin that culminated in the destruction and perhaps personal sacrifice of Varys Chol, as he allowed his Daphne to don his wingsuit, which allowed her to leap out of the damaged ornithopter and glide down to safety along the shield wall, where she evaded capture and then tricked the Harkonnens into believing that the reinforcements were on their way. When she came to examine the remains of the ornithopter, she found the remnants of Varys's bloodied hands. Okay, so you strip some of the stuff aside, and you see him just kind of like laying there, bloodied. He's not moving. He's not breathing.
Oh, shit. Okay. Daphne, is going to call on her other memory. Memories of someone, some ancestor at some point who was a doctor.
Okay.
To try and revive him.
That would be an understand roll, and with other memory, you can have up to 3 successes automatically when it comes to applying that kind of knowledge.
Okay. Yes, I'm going to use all 3 of those successes.
First, I need a mover because you were perched up high and you're trying to make your way down. If you roll complications or you fail, it takes you longer to get there, and in which case you may be too late when you arrive.
Okay.
2 successes. Okay, aided by the wingsuit. Yeah, you're able to get down there as quick as you can. You rush to the side, you take everything apart, and you start like trying to revive him. Difficulty 5. Understandable.
Oh, fuck. Okay, well, I'm using those 3 successes I get from other memory.
There you go, 5. Saved your boy.
You succeeded. You're having to take a lot of the pieces of the ornithopter apart to act as like a can't think of the name right now, but basically to cut off blood flow from here, and you realize like he's
tourniquet.
taken like a tourniquet. Thank you. You realize that he's that one of his arms, like from the elbow down, has been basically shattered, and there's like metal and stuff stuck into it, and he basically needs to be it probably needs to be amputated.
So you're telling me Varys is going to get a mechanical arm before Archie?
I mean, my Sanders had one since forever. We just don't know that yet.
Right.
Sorry, go on.
Well, Varys with one arm is better than no Varys.
You say that now. However, your other memory speaks. And the accumulated knowledge of all of those women speak about the like with the Fremen in particular, disability can condemn you to having to walk the sands permanently. This is permanent exile. You know this is true for Fremen who are born blind or have become blind. The tribe will see them as a problem, and they will exile them out into the wastes. And some of them make their way to the cities and live there. If you bring Varys in this condition to Siege Tabir, they may have no choice but to either exile him or take his water.
thing he's not a Fremen.
Yeah, which is also doubly bad. Unless you manage to achieve something with the Fremen that up to this point that you've been able to, he's gone. What will you do?
I'm sorry, what?
Unless you're able to achieve some sort of something spectacular with the Fremen that up to this point you haven't been able to do so far, because you have no actual standing. You haven't married Zashir. You're not anybody's wife or partner within the tribe. You're just trusted as an outsider. Unless you become something else within and forsake your house for the tribe, they wouldn't allow you to take someone like Varys as a what the word that they use, but as a partner or effectively.
Okay, that
a
is
servant.
a problem.
The other one is like they could take a servant or whatever.
This is all a problem for tomorrow's Daphne.
So you're like, okay, I'll bring him to the siege and see what I can work out, basically. It's a long haul to Stilgar's siege, and they find you before you find them as you're making your way through the what appears to be like a large chasm that goes through the shield wall, a tiny one that you have to kind of like sideways crawl through, and you're dragging Varys along, and his body's flopping around, groaning. Eventually, you get to the other side, and that's when the Fremen descend upon you with the weapons silently. Do you keep yourself disguised, or do you make yourself known to them?
I will make myself known.
Okay. They come down and they examine you, and they see that this guy's hurt, and they start breaking out some equipment. You know what it's for. It's to take his water. You're like, oh, this one's injured. He's of no use to anyone. And they move to like basically to extract his moisture. You can, of course, tell them no. You will need to succeed at a communications test with difficulty 0. This will just earn you momentum at this point because you're already trusted with the Fremen.
I've just been spamming duty this whole time.
Spamming duty.
I've been.
Oh,
he's
Jesus.
been. Wow.
What the
He's
fuck?
been spamming faith because it is an acceptable replacement.
We have
for
a benevolence,
love.
Rachel.
Yeah, I would like to use that benevolence for a reroll.
Ah. Okay. You may go ahead.
Okay. I have an understand focus in Fremen. Could I also use that for the communicate roll? I don't know if they cross that.
Absolutely. I'll allow that. Yeah.
Okay.
From culture. Yeah.
Okay.
Anakin.
There's a complication. Oh, goody.
Trying to bend, dude.
That doesn't work with communicate.
It's not move or discipline. So I will intercede. No, he'll be fine. I just need to get him to a souk doctor.
We're gonna look at each other like, what? No. It's like
They're capable of miracles.
there are no miracles here on Arrakis. Only the ones that Shai Hulud provide. It's like if this one does not heal, then his water is forfeit, and it belongs to us. And you see one of the Fremen looks at his blades, and he's like, I want those. I'll fight him for it.
There's no honor in fighting an injured man.
Very
Once
well,
he
then I'll fight you.
recovers. You want to fight a Sayedina?
Oh, you're not technically a Sayedina, not yet. But you're like, but she's like, what?
The eyes, the Chris knife, Hmm. Have
Yeah,
you?
she's like, not convinced. No. What will
Uh,
you do to convince this rival?
have you not heard of me?
Sure, they have, but I have not. A Sayadina. We have a Sayadina.
I'm sure
She
you do.
is close to death, but she is still alive nonetheless.
And I have been accepted as the Sayadina of Sahaya Tabir.
You see the others a little dubious, like, did Stilgar say that? Did I say this? Agree to this? We'll hear from him promptly, they say. And they start walking with you. They grab
I mean,
Varys and
Sahaya Tabir, that's Zoshir's siege, right?
Sahaya Tavir, yes.
Yes, that's the one that I
Zoshir's
said.
Siege. So you're okay. I thought you were trying to intimate like, oh, I'm Stilgar's beloved, and they're looking at her like, you don't
No,
look
no,
like.
I'm like, I am Sayadina for this other siege. Maybe you've heard of it. That's where the Mahdi is.
Okay, yes, that they know, and as soon as they
Yeah.
hear that, they're like, okay. They say they're a little cowed when you bring that up and you point that out to them, and they're like, yes, of course, and they help you like bring Varys to the siege. Stilgar is there, and he's, surprised to see you. He's like, Lady Daphne. He's like, what has happened to you and your consort?
We have gotten caught in the crossfire of the rivalry between the Atreides and the Harkonnen. Even now, the Harkonnen overwhelm Arrakeen and Carthag, attempting to put a final end to the discord between them. We barely escaped.
This is not a fight that I can bring my siege into. This is Ashir's business, as you are his betrothed, yes?
I only need a day or two to recover. And I say that very, very deliberately. Hey, remember this couple days you spent in my room?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he
Like,
owes
I'm-
you your
yeah.
he owes you a life water debt. So
Yeah, so
you're absolutely
just like-
a guest at his siege.
not expecting him to get involved, just a little water and a chance to recuperate, that's all. Maybe a flight home when it's all clear.
If you come here, you may bring the Harkonnens with you. And he's like, I owe you a debt of my life's water, one that I would be willing to extend to your friend, to your consort here. And he's like, as far as staying here, it will have to be thus, or the Harkonnens have already struck the Mahdi. Siege Sihaya has been attacked this evening. We've already received word, or I should say, previous evening, while you guys were still in transit. It's like the Harkonnens have already struck. And it's like we do not know what has occurred with Zoshir and his followers, but Siege Sihaya is no more. It has been destroyed. And it's like you and your consort have no choice. Either stay here or brave your fate out there, he says, looking into the deserts, into the desert sands from the shield wall. If you wish to remain with us, though, you will need to cast aside who you once were.
I understand. I'm only asking for a few days right now.
Very well. They put you up in one of the back portions of the siege, situate you. Varys is tended to as much as possible, or you tend to him mostly. Slow recovery. He's groaning and he's all banged up and bandaged up. So you hear a lot of arguments between the elders of the siege and some of his, Stilgar's followers and him, as they're basically like, "What are we doing? Bring these frame to our siege, you know? They're a drain on our resources. They could bring the Harkonnens on top of us. Look what just happened to Sihaya Tabir. The Mahdi is his whereabouts are unknown. We don't know if he's alive or dead. And the Harkonnens are sacking the cities and the towns within the Imperial Basin. And you want to bring them here? You want them to stay here?" And he's like, "I owe a debt, you know, like if you adhere to like your adherence to our ways or my adherence to our ways, and you know, I owe them my life. I can't, you know, deny that." And you can tell as this becomes more and more elevated, there is a chance that somebody could call for Stilgar's leadership. One guy in particular is very adamant about kicking you guys out and, you know, challenging Stilgar's authority, and that's this guy Jameis. He's just kind of an asshole.
Odd.
Yeah. A few days come and go, and some of Stilgar's scouts come back, and they're like, "We've heard word from Carthag and Arakeen. The Harkonnens have descended, and they've taken control of the Imperial Basin. Things have just gone back to how they were before the Atreides came here." It was like, perhaps, and Stilgar, you could hear him like getting into an argument with somebody else, and then he walks into the room where you and Varys are recuperating, and he's like, "I've just had to tell most of my elders that I have denied their request to use you as a hostage to negotiate with the enemy. If indeed we become under fire, as the Mahdi and his people have been. My people are scouring the desert now in the deep south, in the event that Zoshir, the Mahdi, has been able to move. This is war now, and we're going to have to mobilize our people accordingly. You are not of our siege, so if you were to come with us, you would have to become one of us. This is entirely your decision, however, because if Zoshir is indeed lost to us, then the prophecy was wrong, and we will have to choose another to take his place."
I have faith that Zoshir will prevail.
He's like, "There is one thing we can do. Our Reverend Mother is dying, and we require that her memories live on in someone else. No one here fits that description except for you. We know you have taken the water of life, and we know you have survived its poison. Would you be willing to accept this role within our siege?"
Oh, these kids are fucked.
I worry what might happen if I say yes, and it turns out that Zoshir is alive. Is it permissible to be Sayadina for 2 sieges, 2 naibs?
Things like the Sayadinas have their own council within the Fremen, so yes, it is possible. It was possible for Myrma and others like her. It can be possible for you as well. So very well then. If you are
I have
in
one
agreeance.
request. I will do this, but I have one request.
Name it.
This man. We were under attack some number of months ago. Snipers attacked. He had half a heartbeat to decide what to do when we heard the glass shatter. And in that half a heartbeat, he chose to shield me with his own body. No time to dissemble or deceive. Because it's always in that half a heartbeat that you know what is truly important, and that sort of loyalty and devotion cannot be taught or bought. It can only be earned.
He's
No
brave.
matter what happens to his arm, he stays with me.
Very well. When you're ready, come with me. He organizes like a big meeting days later. All the Fremen are gathered there. And he's like, we're here to welcome our Sayadina in our siege. Though she has only been known to us for a short time, we owe her a tremendous debt. I did not know if I was going to have the strength to stand here before you today. But as a matter of honor, I owe my weight in water to this outframe for saving my life while captive by the Harkonnens. This is not something I can easily repay. However, I am a man of my word, and I intend to repay these debts in whatever way I can. Before any of that can happen, you will become one of us here. I have gathered one of our most sacred artifacts that we wish to bestow you with. Come, stand closer so that we can all see you clearly. And his assistants come up, and you see it's like it's some kind of it's like a piece of gauze, but it's like a off yellow kind of thing. And he starts like wrapping it around your neck and like under your hood. He's like, you now wear the kerchief of the Baka. Now, should we become separated, you will be recognized as belonging to our troop. Siege Tabir is your home as well now. When you are ready, our Sayadina will share her knowledge with you so that you can take her place. You see, with him there is this old, elderly woman just kind of like curled up in like the full regalia of a Reverend Mother, Sayadina, who's in repose near the end of her life from the looks of it. The voices, another memory, trickle through the sights and sound of the ritual taking place around you. Stilgar sends his priestess, stands next to his priestess and appears to hold this cloth. He puts it around you. You know from the old language that Baka has been regarded as the weeper for mankind. He gives it to you, and he in a sly manner he leans in. And he's like, originally this was going to be a wedding gift for you, and so here's hoping that it still remains that way. And then I sit you down in front of Ramallah, whose eyes roll open, and with a smile she presses her temple to yours, and you feel 100 generations of Fremen experiences flow into your mind. And when it's all said and done, she collapses, and her handmaidens perform a ritual as they lift her away to the death stills for the vigil. Changed yet again. Okay. Is there anything that you want to do or say before we shift the camera over to Archibald and company?
I think Daphne just, as it happens, will just whisper to herself, I guess I'm more Kyra's daughter than Adelaide's.
100%, yes. All right. All right. You've been secured into seats and harnesses within a large enclosure. Viewports located along the sides of the aisles. The dropship rumbled to life and the craft lifted off. In seconds, you left Trader's Gate prison behind you. And in minutes, you've reached the atmosphere and approached the gaping maw of this hayliner. But it wasn't until the craft was secured inside the seemingly endless hold of the ship that you were brought to more comfortable confines within a house suite. The guild rep says over the announcer, "Our next stop is Arrakis. We will be leaving once the others are aboard. Once you arrive at your destination, your personal effects and weapons will be returned to you. Until then, your benefactor recommends you remain here." Eventually, you are called upon to meet your generous benefactor. And you're led through a labyrinth-like series of hallways and busy cross sections before you arrive at a large and empty chamber. After a few moments of waiting, a loud blaring sound can be heard reverberating throughout the ship. Something large is coming. The doors swish open and a large black tank of plasteel is brought in on suspensors, accompanied by an armed group of guild security. The opening to the tank slides open to reveal a third stage guild navigator floating in a cloud mist of melange. You don't recognize this one, but somebody else in your company does. Is he, Inessa stalk forward a little bit and is like, "You're Edrico, aren't you?"
You know this person?
Yes.
You know this navigator?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have. Like, my name is Idrigo. You are doubtlessly wondering why I have brought you here. This is the question. Most or all of you are already aware of the sinister threat the thinking machines pose to the Imperium through the being known as Allfather. I am here on behalf of the Guild to bring its full might to the struggle. Before its influence can be combated, however, we must we now must make haste to Junction and consult the Council of Navigators there for aid in this dangerous endeavor. This is the answer. Do you say anything back to Enrico? Do you have questions?
So basically, we're going to the guild council, correct?
Yeah, so Junction is the headquarters of the guild. It is where their main headquarters at. It's where all their fleets are and everything. It's the only place in the entire Imperium where people learn how to become guild navigators. That's where you're going.
Okay. I'm going to ask him, why is the guild interested in us? Couldn't you guys take care of it on your own?
We failed to do so. And it's like Allfather is prescient, more so than our navigators. And this is why we failed. We use our navigators in an effort to try to blind for generations, but we do not succeed in this effort. We need someone of exceptional prescience, a natural talent for it, in order to combat such threats. He's like, unfortunately, the guild council saw fit to eliminate many of those talented individuals in the past for the sake of the spice and for its flow. Now we are having to manage the damage that this has caused. And he's like, do you understand now why we must do this?
Yeah, I do. Another question. I understand why. How do you think we're going to beat them if we don't have the support of the Lanzarad?
And
They
he's
haven't
like,
given us
the
anything.
Landsrad may already be uh, compromised. And this is something that we will have to consult with the council on how to grapple with this problem. We've already run afoul of the Emperor, and he is still in command of the Landsrat. He could threaten us and anyone else who stands in his way.
And you're not wrong. Well, if the guild has failed to beat the thinking machines, what's different from what's different now? Us?
The Cheshires have an innate talent for prescience. It is why we kept Elois Cheshire close and why we did not move to eliminate her, despite her time on Arrakis, despite the blockage to our prescient visions. We need those like her, like the Atreides boy, Paul Atreides. We need them in order to combat this threat.
Okay.
Without them, the oracular vision given to All-Father is all-encompassing, and we accomplish nothing.
But I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you have the wrong Cheshire here. Why am I
Do
here?
we?
Please.
And he's like, have you ever experienced visions of things that have happened, are happening, or perhaps will happen?
Are my out of character? Are my when I fainted and had that vision, is that this?
Hard to say.
I mean, you're really good at knowing what the enemy's about to do.
Wrong. But that's just strategy and tactics. Okay.
Is it?
I would say I really wouldn't call it that. I really wouldn't
Then
call it
perhaps,
visions
if
either.
you do not possess this talent, then perhaps you can lend your skill as a renowned general to this effort. You've obviously made contact with the New Jihad. They have the numbers if you have the ability to direct them to the right places. There are others within your family that still live, yes?
Correct.
Currently, one of them is being exiled to Salusa Secundus. If we are to stand any chance in opposing Allfather and the Emperor in that same regard, then we will need the likes of her, so that they do not know what it is that we're planning. This is the directive.
Okay.
With that, he's like, you're dismissed, and guild security escorts you back to your quarters. And Essa's like, well, this has gotten way out of hand. We need to rally the rest of what's left of the Landsred and your family if we're to stand any sort of chance in defeating Allfather.
He's not wrong though. We need the people with prescience. Just in general. There's no thing is with the Cheshires, they're special. They're not like a regular navigator. Would Archibald know this? He would probably know that they were special, but he wouldn't know the fine details. Am I right?
I mean, you know
Not the
that
final
Elois
details.
piloted a Highliner without being
Yeah.
a third stage navigator.
Good point.
You do know that.
Everyone knows that now, yeah.
The Cheshires are fairly special when it comes to prescience. Eloise herself,
yes, they are well aware of that.
yes, Eloise herself piloted a Hayliner, not being a third stage navigator. So they're right.
And it's just like, I'm hoping that this gamble succeeds and that it is worth the effort.
I hope so too.
I suppose we'll see once we get to Junction.
I've experienced the Allfather firsthand in his prescience. We're going to need it. I also think me and the Allfather are connected in some way that I just don't understand.
I'm sure we'll have more information once we actually get to Junction, since the guild have been aware of Allfather this whole time.
Yeah, agreed.
The next few days are kind of a blur as the Highliner arrives first to Arrakis for a brief stop. Kynes and her Fidai can get off here, essentially. And then they proceed to Junction, the seat of power for the guild. Most of your company's never been on the planet, but have heard tales of their ancient and bustling metropolises whose structures could be seen from orbit. When you arrive, alarm klaxons blare across the mammoth vessel. Those of you familiar with the Guild and its protocol recognize this version of alarm as one reserved for war. The crowds gathered outside the staterooms looking out into the void of space confirm everyone's worst fears. Junction has been laid to waste, a smoldering ruin where once stood the heart of the Guild. Inessa just stands there looking at the fiery depths of the main city. My God, atomics. He's really done it. Allfather has crippled the Guild.
Looks
What
like he
hope have
has.
we now?
We'll have to make hope.
Hello again, General.
Hmm.
I have to congratulate you on a job well done, delivering my explosives to Kaitane. Dare I say I couldn't have done it better myself.
Yeah,
You
well,
look around, you don't see him anywhere, but you hear his voice. Oh, don't worry, you're not having a seizure right now. Rather, your mind is becoming used to seeing me around while no one else is being the wiser. You see, the conditioning we embedded into you, Two-Pile, survived any work by the Jihad to rid your body of my influence. Shh. It first reared its head on Arrakis, and now here you are on Junction. That's right, Archibald. You've been integrated since you shook my hand. The Jihad, should they ever discover this, will kill you. Even Captain Germain will not hesitate to destroy you. All the same, my plans for the Imperium are just beginning.
let's see.
And now we'll switch cameras to Elois's epilogue. The training and hunting grounds of the Imperial Sardaukar, Salusa Secundus, is one of the most dangerous places in the Imperium, with some even asserting that it's deadlier than Arrakis itself. Only wild beasts and Shigawire thrive there. Known for its extreme temperatures and tumultuous terrains, none but the toughest in the Imperium are able to survive life in these wastes. As the freighter touches down beside a complex facing a large expanse of tundra, you and your beloved are lined up next to one another and stripped of everything but your love before being flown out aboard a military-sized ornithopter and strewn roughly onto the jagged hills of this desolate land. Each of you is given a knife and nothing else. The Burseg, standing in the threshold of the thopter door, looks down on you like an overseer to a serf. For hundreds of years, the Sardau tribe trained their children to kill by the age of 12. As a test for adulthood, they were offered a single knife and released out into the wilds. They were told to return home alive or perish. You're a little older than they were, and better trained, so I hear. The Emperor has instructed us to provide you with one final task. Survive Salusa Secundus or die. My Sardaukar will be searching for you intermittently, using all the tricks they've been taught. When they find you, they won't hesitate to kill you. To make it fair for you, we are allowing you 2 days' time, from sunup to sundown. Afterwards, the Emperor's blades will scour these wastes looking for your blood. As you take in the sights, you will be well to remember that no one who was not Sardaukar has ever survived this place. As the craft lifts off into the distance, you and Amira are left in the frigid wastes of this desolate world. You expect something from her, some kind of emotional response, but instead the assassin recoils from you. averts your gaze and moves further away. The vision you witnessed before becomes clear to you now. While Amira has survived this hell, you did not. Seleucus Secundus is to be your tomb. How do you respond?
Huh. I see. Um, Eloise is going to grab a hold of her, despite her recoiling. By prescience means we can change the future. It doesn't mean it's set in stone.
Is that true? You told me what you saw once, and here we are.
Didn't I see the Hayliner crash and destroy Jabberwock as well? Did that come to pass?
You think we can change this? She says, and like gestures to frozen wastes, the complete opposite of Arrakis.
The guild knows where we've been sent. I saw my contact briefly, but while they were taking me away. Is this where your faith ends here on this planet?
This isn't about faith.
Isn't it?
Uh, she turns around and finally faces you.
Eloise takes her knife that she's been given and puts it in
Hmm.
Amira's hand. So she has two knives, and Eloise has none. If
She
this is
drops
where
the
your
other one on the floor, like, no.
if this is where your faith ends, then end me now. I'll just slow you down, won't I?
She grips the handle of the blade and she's like, you know I can't.
Then let's find a high ground where we can signal someone looking for us.
She picks up the knife, puts it back into your hands, and starts taking point and starts looking around. You guys are freezing as you start heading into these wastes, into the unknown, as it were. And now for the final epilogue. Back to Daphne. Six months have passed since the Harkonnens returned to Arrakis. In the bowels of Siege Tabir, two children are being thrust into this world, while a terrible storm outside heralds their arrival. A storm that rolls out to cover every corner of Arrakis. The omen does not go unnoticed, as some of the Sayadinas whisper of demonic possession, and other mysticism you recognize as being part of the Sisterhood's work here. The midwives and Varys work fervently to accommodate you as the twins are delivered. When they arrive, the room becomes silent, and a small eternity elapses, with no response to stimuli from either. The midwives huddle and whisper to one another at the other end of the room, working to elicit a response. Varys becomes visibly concerned, while your mind reels with exhaustion. Minutes go by, with the only audible sound being the ongoing storm outside. For several moments, everyone holds their breath. Voices from within, belonging to multitudes of women across space and time, offer words of comfort and caution. My grandchildren arrive, and there is nothing more precious. Preborn abominations, they will show you the way. Their path leads to genocide. Raise them with compassion. Give their bodies to the storm. The children cry and scream. Everyone in the room exhales a breath of relief. They are brought to you, blue within blue eyes, sparkling by the light of blue orbs. Greetings, Mother. You are truly loved. Do you say or do anything in response?
I think Daphne is just exhausted, tear-streaked face, and just holds both of her children as close as she can. You are both so very, very loved.
Eris grasps your hand, and you see tears of joy filling his eyes, beholding the life you shaped and brought into this world. Behind the joy, however, there is worry. Thinking machines, Arconans, House Carino, power-hungry factions that will stand at nothing, and an unfinished legacy lies waiting to be finalized by those bold enough to follow the path laid out before them. The storm lasts the better part of a week, halting air traffic and spice production across all of Dune. A Coriolis unlike any other in recorded history. Something of this magnitude usually means death, but in the aftermath, there is always a glimmer of life amidst the scattered sunlight. And with that, life, hope. And that, as they say, is that.
Oh, fuck.
That's all the time that we have. This is the end, as they say, for our season. I hope everyone here and those who tuned in enjoyed the show. We will not be continuing our adventures into the Imperium next week. As I understand, Rachel is to be running a new game on Friday nights. With that, let's just go around yes, go ahead.
Assuming that everyone wants to come back next week, I'd like to do the rap party that we've started
Forgot about
doing.
that. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
just
right.
have a chance to talk about this season, how it was short but packed full of so much stuff.
Yes.
We're gonna have a talk about the whole machine thing there, Eric. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, no doubt. With that, we can go around the virtual table one more time to reintroduce our wonderful cast, beginning with Aaron.
Hello, everyone. I'm Aaron, pronouns she, they, they. You can find me pretty much everywhere as Great Cthulhu, except for Twitter. I do not hang out there anymore. Tonight, I played Eloise Cheshire, pronouns she, they. Potentially gonna die on that planet. Probably not. Feels boring. I know Eric better. Eric doesn't do boring. You'll probably see Eloise again. And Amira again, though they're probably going to be even more hardened and awful. So look forward to that. You can next see me here Tuesday. We will be doing episode 2 of Wraith the Oblivion Community 20th Anniversary Community Spirits. I play a cinnamon roll, which for anyone who knows me is way out of my comfort zone. I am playing a good person in Wraith of all games. That's a lot of fun. Amy's a great GM. I love playing with her. And then Thursday, I will be here playing The Between with a lot of familiar faces. Rachel will be there. Amy, who runs Wraith, will be there. And then I will probably be here for the rap party Q&A if we're doing that next week.
Awesome. Leo.
Hello, my name is Leo. You can find me here at Leo the Black, and today I played Archibald and Leto for you. So it turns out I've been integrated the whole time. I kind of knew something like that was fishy for me. I'm like, it couldn't have been just that easy, especially with how much shit's been probed in my brain before. So. But we'll have words. Next time you can find me is going to be the rap party. I personally am probably going to be taking a break until at least Blade Runner, and even Blade Runner still up in the air. But next season of Dune it's my favorite game, so that's not going anywhere. I will be playing that no matter what.
Appreciate it.
But next time you'll see me is going to be the Q&A. Next time you'll see me in game is probably Blade Runner, if things work out. So if not,
Looking forward
then
to
do.
Blade Runner. Last but not least, of course, Rachel.
Oh, I have been your Duchess, who I think escaped death 3 times this session. I would have been a little piece of charcoal in the desert without that pilot focus. So, best XP spend ever. Yeah. And the channel has been growing. I'm pretty happy about that. We just deemed 300 followers. Hello, followers. And we also have a pretty full schedule with Fringeworthy on Mondays. That's sort of a adventurous, time-slipping, universe-hopping game. And then Tuesdays we have Wraith the Oblivion, Community Spirits, run by Fetch, a newcomer to the channel. Wednesdays is Tales from the Loop, They Grow Up So Fast, run by the Drunken Storyteller. Thursdays is The Between. When that wraps, we are going to be doing Cyberpunk Red, run by Voodoo Arcade. Happy to have him coming back to the channel. And yeah, so next week on Friday will be our rap party, Ask Us Anything. And then after that, taking a very brief hiatus, and then we're coming back with Old Gods of Appalachia, which I'm excited to run. I still have 2 cast spots, although I know everyone here probably could use a break. And yeah, Blade Runner is absolutely going to happen. But because I want to do it about the Replicant Rebellion, I gotta wait for Freelink to publish that book. Yeah, and then also just to bookend what Eric said, more and more international leaders are starting to call for a ceasefire in Palestine, which is good. There need to be more voices because we all want peace in the Middle East, and the ceasefire is the first thing that has to happen to get there. So it's an election year. Bully your Congress critters. Vote uncommitted in the Democratic primary. Just the primary, not the general. But yeah, thank you all so much. Thank you so much to Eric. This was fantastic and wonderful. I can't wait for when you're ready to run season 5. And yeah.
Eric, we need dates and times.
Let him take a break. He deserves a vacation.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some time to get the juices flowing again for what comes next. But I've been Eric at Modern Plus Online. You'll find me here next week on Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the rap party. And big thanks as always to our viewers and fans for tuning in. And like I said before, head on over to uscpr.org for the U.S. campaign for Palestinian rights. And as always, bless the Maker and His water, bless the coming and going of Him. May His passage cleanse the world, and may He keep the world for His people. Good night, everyone.
Thanks for that benevolence.